So in this video, we're going to talk about Oracle Restart. In this section, the very first section here, I want to talk about how to install Oracle Restart. It's probably already installed for the OCM exam, but I'm going to show you how to install it. So let's go ahead and go to Stage, Grid, Uninstaller. We're going to do the software only install. Okay, so now we need to do the root.sh. Let's go ahead and see if I can do that from here. And where do I have to go? U01 app. Okay, and just so you know, when you see this, then you have to also do this configure later to get it to create the to finish the job. So let's go ahead and say OK, and it was done. So now that we're root, let's go ahead and do this the rest of the job. So it's just this root host.pl. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're done. So that's it for this particular section. In the next section, I want to run some commands just to see how if the restart has been installed, because I think on the OCM exam it's already been installed for you. All you have to do is do some configuration stuff. So so I'm going to stop here, and in the next section I'm going to do some commands just to look at how much of this installation it was completed already. So in this section, we have already installed the grid infrastructure on a single instance database. So in other words, Oracle Restart. And I want to test just to see how we can tell if the grid infrastructure is been created. So I suspect in the OCM exam, the grid infrastructure has already been installed, and we just need to check it to see if it's actually installed or not. So there's various ways. The first thing I want to do is look at etc. So let's look at that. etc. And then let's cat Oracle. So there's an Oracle directory. Sorry. So let's go to CD Oracle. There's an Oracle subdirectory. So let's look at that. And this Oracle subdirectory only gets created when the cluster is installed. So that's one check. The next check is to let's look at the ls inventory. So let's go there. Inventory contents, and let's view the inventory.xml, and we can see the grid infrastructure is actually installed. So the next other checks that you can run are to see you need to have the Oracle home set. So let's go over there, cat grid profile. It is. So the grid was installed, or Oracle Restart was installed here. So I'm actually going to source it right now. Now let's go. The first thing I want to do is $Oracle home opatch ls inventory, and we can see that the grid infrastructure is installed. This is the same thing as look at the contents.xml, except when you run it from the grid home, you're only going to see the grid part of it, and when you run it from the Oracle home, you're going to see the Oracle part of it. So we can see that the Oracle has been, that the grid infrastructure, aka restart, has been installed. We can also do crsctl check HAS, and notice that the fact that we can do this, the crsctl command is available, means that the root.sh has been applied. And now it says it's online, and we can also run crsctl config HAS and see if it's been enabled or not. See some other things that we can do. Actually, there's one more thing that we can do, and that is this ocr check minus config minus local, and ocr check minus config minus local, and it will tell us where the OLR is located. So that's the end of this section, but this is an important section because we need to be able to make sure that the Oracle Restart has actually been installed or not. So in this section, what I want to do is go over some crsctl commands. Some of these commands you need to do as root, especially if you want to stop or start them, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and go to root as it is. Alright, so the first command I want to do is actually the CRS is up and running, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it. crsctl stop CRS. And I can use the -F option if I wanted to. Oh, what happened here? Oh, sorry, it's not CRS, it's HAS. crsctl stop HAS. Now I want to restart it. crsctl start HAS. Now I want to go ahead and disable it. Disable HAS. This keeps it from auto restart on reboot. Let's re-enable CTL. Enable CRS. Oh, crsctl enable HAS. And let's see what the config says. crsctl config HAS. Now it's been re-enabled. And let's go ahead and check the status. crsctl check HAS. It's now online. And finally, let's do a crsctl stat res -t. And this shows us all of the resources. And that's all I wanted to show for this particular section. So in this section, what I want to do is I want to add a database and a listener to Oracle Restart. I've already created a database and a listener, and then I added Oracle Restart afterward, but it's not associated with Oracle Restart, so I need to address that. So first off, let's look at what I have here. I have a database called OCM, and I already have a listener running. And so, oh, I don't have a listener running, so I'll actually have to create it. Let's make sure that's interesting. So no listener is actually running, so that's good. If I had, I would have to actually shut it down and before I added this to the Oracle Restart. So the first thing is let's see what we have in terms of what's installed in Oracle Restart. srvctl config database. Notice we don't have any database configured for Oracle Restart. srvctl config listener, and we don't have any listener associated with that either. And if we go to Oracle app, let me grid bin and do a crsctl what is it, the stat res -t. Notice that there are no resources, a database or a listener. So now we're going to need to create some, and let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now let's do srvctl add database -d ocm -o of and let's go ahead and add a listener as well. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and stop the database. srvctl stop database -d ocm. Now let's do sr, but we already have it running. So it's already running, but it's not. It doesn't know that it's running through Oracle Restart. So let's go ahead and shut that down. Shut down. srvctl start database -d Great. Now, let's go ahead and add a listener as well. And the command for that is, we already know that the listener isn't already configured and isn't running currently, so let's just go ahead and simply add it. If it were, we would have to shut it down first. So now we're going to do srvctl add listener minus L. I want the $oracle home. Where was that? Now, let's go ahead and start the listener. I guess one thing that we should have done perhaps is let's just go ahead and start srvctl start listener. Now let's go ahead and srvctl status of listener and srvctl config listener, and great. So now let's go ahead and let's look at $grid home / bin of crsctl stat res minus t. And now notice that we have a database listed. And I'm surprised we don't see a listener listed as well, but oh yes, it is. There it is. We have a listener and a database listed. And that's all I wanted to show for this particular section. So in this section, I want to add an ASM resource and do a few things, maybe create the password file and the SP file. So the first thing I want to do is see if there is an ASM resource. I know there's not, but this is something we can check during the OCM exam. So let's do grid home / bin, so crsctl stat res minus t, and notice that there is no ASM resource here. So we're going to add one, and it's pretty easy to do. So we're going to do srvctl add ASM, srvctl start ASM, and srvctl status of ASM, srvctl status of ASM, and it's now running. So that's great. Now let's look at $grid home stat res minus t, and now we have an ASM instance. While we're there, let's go ahead and let's log into the ASM instance and do a few things. So go up here. I think I have a bash profile strictly for grid. Okay, so now let's do export oracle sid is equal to plus ASM. Actually, we should be able to see it from here. And let's log into it. Sure enough, we can log into it. So let's actually go to $oracle home / dbs. This is the directory where I want to create the SP file and the password file. So let's go ahead and do that. Create SP file, which is equal to do srvctl stop ASM. Let's do srvctl start ASM. Okay, and SQL plus as sysasm. Okay, let's do one other thing. Let's go ahead and create the password file also. And we go, let's first of all go alter system set remote password word file is equal to exclusive. Scope is equal to file. Scope equals both actually. Alter system set. I spelled it wrong. Remote login password file is equal to exclusive. Scope is equal to SP file. No, let's do both. Okay, it can't be modified, so let's just do alter system. Set remote login password file is equal to SP file. Exclusive. Scope is equal to SP file. Now let's do srvctl stop ASM. srvctl start ASM. Coolness, and let's go ahead and create a password file too. So actually we do this outside the database. Oh, let's just make sure that the SP file now has that remote. So let's do a strings on SP on the SP file and a grep for remote. And sure enough, it's marked exclusive. So we actually have made that change, and it took it. And let's go ahead and create the password file now also. And how is that done? So let's do aura pwd. So we go aura pw file is equal to aura pw plus ASM, and I think that's all we need actually. Aura pwd file is equal to aura pw plus ASM. So I think we're done. Let's see. And now we have a password file created, and that's all we needed to do for this particular exercise.